Welcome sports fans, welcome back to another very special episode. I'm your host Joe Meyer.
I'm Rush.
And this is This or That Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting and everything sports topics, discussions and debates on the internet.
Yes, but before we get into today's video, don't forget to like this one. Leave a comment under the video and subscribe to This or That Sports TV. Do one more thing though.
Share the video to at least 10 people but get us at least 6 subscribers. Because if you guys can manage to do that, you know how many subscribers that will get us by the end of today?
Alright, this is another post-match analysis and we'll be speaking about the Reggae Girls International Friendly against Paraguay National Stadium.
First, Part 2.
Let's speak about it, bro. Unfortunately, the Reggae Girls lost today, so let's just break it down. Where do you want to start?
Well, I guess we can start with a brief recap, just a brief synopsis of the game. The game started, we started pretty slowly and it was a late start. So I think maybe those two things go hand in hand, if you're poetic. So we got a late kickoff and we started slowly, and Paraguay, to my surprise, had us on the back foot. A few other changes that were made, the likes of Havana Salone came in and Kayla McCoy came in. And I think that really affected the dynamic of the game. So Paraguay put us on the back foot early, and they got the opening goal, off of a bad pass by the central defender. It was intercepted, and I think the Paraguayan forward did very well to composedly put the ball in the back of the net. And then in that same half, from the same side of the field, Paraguay managed to go 2 ahead going into the half, and it took the wind out of the whole national stadium. Everybody was surprised. This is not the type of performance we were expecting, but alas, that's what it was going into the half. We came out in the second half, and though playing a bit better, still went end to end with Paraguay. We still traded chances, which is not necessarily what you'd expect from a Jamaican team of this caliber. The coach made some substitutions, bringing on the likes of Jones and Cameron, and amongst others. And you really saw the tempo of the game improve. You really saw the dynamic change, the football change, and just like that, the Reggae Girls started to create opportunity after opportunity until Rachel Jones, one of the substitutes, darted down the left-hand side, and got a square that resulted in a handball, which Khadija Shaw would subsequently put away very composedly. The game continued. The Jamaican team kept knocking on the door. The Paraguayan goalkeeper, a different goalkeeper today, was forced to make a few very good saves as well. It seems like Paraguay has all the good goalkeepers in Central America, and she kept her team in the game. With a few theatrics, with a few time-wasting strategies that we saw, managed to pull the game and draw it out till the final, which was blown. Ultimately, it ended Paraguay 2, Jamaica 1. Yeah,
it's interesting to note that in the press conference, there was some speaking about, the team came into today with a low energy. They just weren't up for the fight. And they went out there and you could tell Paraguay shocked them, with 2 quick goals, bro. And the Jamaican team seemed like they didn't know what to do, after Paraguay scored those 2 goals. The thing, what I realized and what I would attribute that, slow start per se to, is just a change in the team. The coach spoke about, tinkering with it a bit, trying to see, which players we could add to the team, for the World Cup. And he even mentioned this is the last time we will tinker with it. He said that going forward, we want to know the next time the Reggae Girls squad is called up, we want to know that this is our best squad. So I feel like that is what happened today. The back line was tinkered with. Only Alison Swaby and Denisha Blackwood started from the last game. So you know that a defensive line does not change, across football. And you want to know that going into a competition that is less than a year away, you want to know your best 4. You want to know your best 5. And so I guess the coach was just having a tryout process today, and it hurt us. Because the defender that they put in there, Michaela Day, she made the 2 mistakes that led to the 2 goals. And so a lot of people say, hey, the person that made the 2 mistakes is not our starter. Alright, we'll have a better team when we want to see, our best team. So that's what I would attribute this loss to. Just tinkering with it a little bit too much, too close to the time that we want to see our best team.
And to piggyback off what you just said, we saw in the latter part of the game where you had the Swaby sisters in the center of defense, and then you had Wilshire on one side and Blackwood on the other side. And I think that's our go-to back 4 for the time being, at least. Murray was given a go in the last game, and we know the caliber of Plummer, But I think the two Swaby sisters, they've really been the ones who have been called upon throughout the majority of the World Cup qualifying campaign. And when they were implemented, you saw how well they both played. You know, they brought a sense of security, they brought a sense of calmness, they brought a sense of composure to the back, which is what both Swaby sisters are known for. You know, they're technical, they're good ball playing defenders, and they're very big. So I think they warded off every single Paraguayan threat, and I do believe that as it currently stands, is our best centre-back pairing, and I do really think that the team improved when those players were implemented into the back line.
Yeah, this is true, and one thing we know of this Reggae Girls squad is the chemistry.
Yeah.
You know, on and off the pitch, they are close, and we can tell, you know, when the team that has been playing for the past 4 years play is a different thing than when you add 2 or 3 or 4 players. You know, one thing I can tell that today's team was missing was a Jody Brown. You know, the play on the wing was not as sharp as we've become accustomed to. When Jody Brown gets that ball, it's deadly. You know, we're expecting crosses, we're expecting shots. And even though she's not as clinical as we want her to be, it's different from what we saw today. So I could tell that today we were missing Jody Brown and her ability.
Bro, Jody Brown is by far the fastest player we have on our team. And when she gets the ball, it's absolutely electric every single time. You know, I think we have players on the team that are technically gifted, that, you know, can dribble the ball closely and that can probably beat a player. But Jody Brown is the only player that we have that can throw the ball 10 yards in front of her and run past any wing back, any central defender, and get to it without having to do too much with her feet. And I think that's why Jody Brown adds that dynamic level to us, and Jody Brown makes us so devastating. So I think the deficit of her, you know, not having her on that right wing or left wing really did hamper us this window. So it's apparent how important Jody Brown is, but as the coach alluded to, you know, she's in the midst of her college season, and as such she just allowed them to finish out their season, and I think that's very respectable and admirable from Coach Donaldson.
That's a missing player, but let's speak about a player that was introduced this window. Speak about Rachel Jones. You know, the last game she came on and we saw her impact. This game she came on again and she was the one that won the penalty. You know, she terrorized the right back of Paraguay, and I like that from her. You know, I think Rachel Jones will be one that will make the camp. She will make the camp and make that trip to New Zealand and Australia. I think I've seen enough to know that she's one of the best wingers that we have in this squad. How do you feel about Rachel Jones?
Rachel Jones is definitely going for the World Cup. You know, the likes of Tiffany Cameron and Paige Bailey and Jody Brown and Trudy Carter, hey, you guys look out, because Rachel Jones, she wants to start in this World Cup, and I do believe that she possesses the quality to, if not start, be a very, very impactful player for us in this World Cup. So, you know, I'm excited to see what Rachel Jones has to offer. You know, we've seen her in 2 games thus far, and I think she's been the best player for Jamaica in both games, coming off the bench, and I think that's undisputed. But another player who would argue with me about the best player is one, Alison Swaby.
Yeah, Alison Swaby, she's been so good this trip. You know, she was the one in Montego Bay that came up with that winning goal, and today she was a rock. Yeah. You know, the mistakes that we had, they didn't come from her side. She didn't really put her foot wrong today. No, Alison Swaby, her sister, Chantal didn't do anything bad today.
Yeah, Chantal started at the right back. You know, both goals came from the left side of defense.
Yeah.
And when Chantal Swaby was moved into the center of defense,
solid.
She consolidated her sister, and they both look like 2 twin towers. Absolute rocks.
How do you feel about the coach? You know, and still sounds like he's searching, you know, as I said, under a year away. How do you feel about that and him still, you know, tinkering with it, as I said before?
Well, to be fair, bro, you know the phenomena where a team qualifies for the World Cup and a lot of players who were eligible that probably did not make themselves eligible before, or probably weren't aware of their eligibility, or probably weren't interested, but now that they're qualified for the World Cup, they are interested. You already know that phenomena. You know the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi and Lampity, who all of a sudden are Ghanaian when they've attempted to play for England all their life, simply because Ghana qualified for the World Cup. Due to that phenomena, you know, there might be players who recently became available that Coach Donaldson just wanted to see. You know, there are players that he wanted to interject, there are players that he wanted to test out just to see where exactly they could fit into the system going forward, and as such he used this as his last quote-unquote practice match. As he said in the press conference, this is his last tryout type situation. So he conceded in fact that it was a tryout, but because there are FIFA dates upcoming, he believes that he will use those dates to set things right, those dates to consolidate what he has, those dates to pick his final 30. But I think these 2 fixtures were solely just to have a tryout type situation.
I hear you, and this is something that I don't normally do. I don't think I'm going to put too much weight on these 2 games because, as you said, it was a tryout and we didn't see some of our best players. We were missing some of our best players. So I'm not going to put too much on it. He was searching for his best team, and even on the pitch, it just didn't come together because of that fact. So the chemistry that we're used to, the quality that we're used to from the Reggae girls, it wasn't there, and I know the reason why it wasn't there. So if we remove that or we fix that, I know, as I say, he conceded. So we know that he will fix it in the next window. So I'm going to just accept that this was a trial. This was, testing out a few things that didn't quite work this trip. In fact, 2 games, 1 win, 1 loss. So it's not even an awful return from a 52nd place or a 51st place team. So I'm not upset at what the Reggae girls produced tonight. So I'm just going to chalk it down to, the coach searching.
All right. So where do you think, besides the fact that the chemistry wasn't there, where do you think we really lacked today in this game though?
In the attacking third again. We found ourselves in dangerous positions. We found ourselves in good parts of the pitch, a lot of times, and we just couldn't capitalize. We saw Khadija Shaw being in and around the box, the touches, up until that point being clean. And when we're in and around the box, it's just not happening. We see when Rachel Jones came on, we're in good positions again. Tiffany Cameron came on, Paige Bailey Gale. They were getting the balls in good positions, but we were just not. We didn't have that extra sharp, that extra, killer instinct to just put the ball in the back of the net. I feel like that's where we got let down today.
And lastly, let's speak about Khadija Shaw. Once again, not firing as she is known for, not being prolific as she tends to be, but still managing to get on the score sheet. How do you think this goal might help her going forward?
Funny enough, I don't think it would help her any bit. I think she's fine. I think she's just a goal scorer that had an half trip. Yeah. You had 2 games, you played 51 minutes in one. You played 90 minutes in one where the coach is, searching. So you didn't have... Yes, she got a few chances, but I can't remember 4 or 5 clear chances. As I said, Khadija missed 5 chances. She had some half chances that I expected her to do well with, and she didn't. So I'm just going to put it down to a great goal scorer not having a great trip. I don't think this goal will do, a penalty goal at that, will do anything for Khadijah's confidence. She's actually in great goal scoring form.
Yeah, and to add to that, I don't think her poor goal scoring or her poor clinical or her poor finishing in front of goal will affect her either way. I think she's very balanced. We've spoken to her. She seems very balanced and even keyed. She seems very confident. She knows exactly how good she is, and she'll continue to be that good.
There we go. People, if you saw this game, tell us your opinion. Help us to break down this game, analyze the game for us, and tell us what do you think, about the game that we saw tonight. The Reggae girls, 1, Paraguay women's team, 2. People, if you like this video, leave a comment under the video and subscribe to this or that Sports TV.
Share the video to at least 10 people, as I previously said, but ensure that at least 6 people subscribe. Because if you do that, you guys know how many subscribers that will get us by the end of the day, people.
Wally. For now, this was this or that Sports TV, leaving you from the national stadium with another post-match analysis.
And we're out.
Yes, sir.